note of the report of the 2015 and 2017 reactive monitoring mission that there were lack of coordination management mechanism and inadequate coordination among national authorities. But at the same time, we also take note of the State Party report of 2017 that many issues and recommendations of advisory bodies have been addressed, and therefore we wish again to commend Nepal for this effort. We also acknowledge the Nepalese tradition of cyclical renewal of the property and encourage Nepal to continue the restoration process using appropriate methods and materials and with detailed documentation to guarantee that the conservation and restoration will not harm the OUV of the property. Mr. Chairman, given the recovery plan would take time before showing significant progress, it would be reasonable to give more time for the Nepalese government to fulfill their conservation commitment. Therefore, we support the proposed amendment. I thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you. The Republic of Korea. The floor goes to Korea. Korea, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The Republic of Korea salutes the efforts of the government of Nepal for the untiring work and endeavors to recover from the traumatic earthquake. We respect the advisory body's analysis on the need of establishing a coherent and integrated recovery plan together with detailed restoration plans for the individual monuments. At this point, we would like to highlight the positive impacts and utilize the danger list in a more constructive manner. As it was seen in the materials presented in the orientation session, danger listing can also be an opportunity to shore up support and more attention. We sincerely hope that this mechanism can be used in a more proactive manner. However, we respect the wish of the state party to refrain from being included in the danger list, which could possibly adversely affect the sentiments of those people on the ground who are working so hard for the difficult recovery. Therefore, we would like to support the revised amendment for this item to be examined once more at the next session. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, Kuwait, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We recognize the work done by the State Party as we urge them to engage with the reactive monitoring mission to develop a more systematic and scientific approach to conservation. Therefore, we join the proposal of Turkey. Thank you.
Thank you. Portugal, Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. As the distinguished delegate of Lebanon mentioned, natural disasters are indeed terrible events with an unlimited capacity for destruction of lives and properties, and they are not the fault of anyone. We are faced, in fact, with a very dire situation. This committee, as has also been recalled by our Finnish colleague, has already twice extensively discussed what should be the best way to effectively respond to the challenges posed by the devastating earthquake of April 2015. We have heard the arguments of the State Party and have read the very useful recommendation of the already two joint Centre ICOMOS reactive monitoring missions to the property since the earthquake. Portugal wishes to commend the courageous efforts of the authorities of Nepal. Nevertheless, the detailed results of the mission undertaken in March this year quite clearly highlights the various substantial challenges the property is facing, namely the deterioration of its architectural and town planning coherence and the consequences of some recovery work, which seems to be also affecting the integrity and the authenticity of the property. Facing this reality, and despite the many efforts of the State Party, which we very strongly commend, as I have already stated, we believe there is an urgent need for a coordinated approach that could lead to a more effective and swift recovery process of the property. The World Heritage Convention has the adequate tools to provide the best possible answer to these challenges, and we heard that ICOMOS is also ready to help. Indeed, we should do more to better mobilize and coordinate the international community and its extensive network of experts and resources of different nature. I agree with Cuba and Zimbabwe that the endangered list should not be a means of acceding to monies, but it is a way of better mobilizing the international community and to better coordinate efforts. But neither is the inclusion in the endangered list a kind of punishment or stain on any state party. I look forward to seeing the draft resolution. I understand will be submitted by Turkey, and if appropriate, I'll further comment then. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Jamaica. Jamaica has the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Jamaica wishes to commend the State Party of Nepal for its commitment to restore sections of the site impacted by the 2015 earthquake. It is noted that a significant amount of work has been done towards the monuments impacted, but the processes applied are matters of concern. Therefore, Jamaica does concur with the draft decision as it is reflected, and feels that with this decision, a clear plan of restoration with the involvement of the international community could be facilitated. Thank you.
Thank you. Tunisia. The floor is yours, Tunisia.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Voilà qu'un pays subit une catastrophe naturelle et son patrimoine a été en partie dévasté. L'État partie, malgré cela, a essayé de faire un effort pour essayer de réhabiliter son patrimoine. Autant je fais confiance à l'organe consultatif par rapport à la mission et à son rapport, autant je ne pouvais pas ne pas aussi prendre en ligne de compte la réponse de l'État partie. Et il suffit de lire les mesures prises par l'État partie. Tout d'abord, je signale que l'État partie considère qu'il n'y a que 17% seulement de l'ensemble des monuments qui ont été touchés. Mais il y a pas mal de mesures qui sont positives, notamment un début de travaux, bien que là, évidemment, il y ait quelques problèmes à propos du respect de la VIE, mais il y a un plan de gestion qui est révisé. Il y a un programme de renforcement des capacités, etc. Ma foi, l'État partie a fait un effort à la suite de cette catastrophe. J'aimerais dire aux membres du comité de ne pas prendre une mesure qui pourrait être considérée par l'État partie comme étant une punition, qui pourrait le décourager d'aller de l'avant par la suite à prendre davantage de mesures. Je plaiderai à encourager l'État partie à poursuivre son train de mesures avec évidemment le Conseil de l'ICOMOS, et là-dessus il faudrait qu'il applique les mesures correctives qui lui seront dites par l'ICOMOS. Merci.
Thank you. The United Republic of Tanzania. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Tanzania would like to support the intervention made by the previous speakers. It is understandable that preservation of outstanding universal value of cultural heritage of more than 4 centuries old can be challenging in terms of the use of materials. Tanzania recognizes that the state party has made effort to look for materials which are easily available in the country that are compatible with the existing material in order to preserve the value. The state party has also informed that it will complete recovery of more than 35 monuments within a year. Furthermore, conservation works for several other monuments are also underway. All activities are being conducted in coordination with the stakeholders, including our local communities. It is in this regard that we appeal to the World Heritage Center to give our state party the opportunity to work further on the post-earthquake conservation, reconstruction, renovation, and the rehabilitation of damaged heritage sites. Tanzania further urges the Center to mobilize all the possible support to complement efforts undertaken by the state party. I submit, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Are there any other interventions from the side of the committee? I see none. It means that the floor goes to the state party. Nepal, the floor is yours. Yes. No, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Government of Nepal has been insistently working for the conservation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of all damaged cultural heritage following the devastating earthquake of 2015. The aid bomber circulated to all the members of the committee outlines the conservation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation works that are ongoing. Nepal welcomed 2 joint reactive monitoring missions since the devastating earthquake. Feedback from them has been very useful in streamlining and furthering our work. The report of the Joint Reactive Monitoring Mission in Kathmandu in March 2017 was received less than 2 weeks ago. This short time didn't allow Government of Nepal to furnish a detailed response to the points raised by this report. We do not agree on many of the issues raised in the report. Most of the issues raised by the report are either already being addressed or in the drafts of the government plan. We need more time to consult with all stakeholders to send our response to this report. Nevertheless, I would like to mention some of our major achievements made during the last 2 years. Nepal has adopted a 6-year recovery master plan of Kathmandu Valley Old Heritage Property. It has also instituted a cultural heritage information management system, which has already begun the work of recording all heritage in Kathmandu Valley, as well as maintaining the records of all ongoing conservation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation activities. Department of Archaeology is now well equipped with more than 100 engineers, architects, and other supporting staffs. The Department of Archaeology has conducted a series of technical trainings to various individuals. These training activities are done in close coordination with the UNESCO World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, ICROM, and the UNESCO office in Kathmandu. In Nepal, all governmental procurements are governed by the Procurement Act. Nonetheless, following the comments of the Joint Reactive Monitoring Missions, the Department of Archaeology has been working to develop a tender system that would allow only those contractors who meet eligibility criteria of maintaining OUB to be shortlisted so that expediency is achieved in contracting out the required tasks. In contrary to one of the points raised in the report, all stakeholders are now coordinating and cooperating well and working together to reinstate, reconstruct the damaged structures in their original shapes and forms. Nepal is fully confident in progressing forward with increased momentum, and invaluable heritage of Kathmandu Valley will be reinstated at its pre-quake stage. Nepal has already completed the conservation and reconstruction rehabilitation of 15 monuments completely within these 2 years in coordination with the local bodies, local communities, and international support. Remaining works of the monuments are under progress. Nepal enjoys an excellent relation with UNESCO and its office in Kathmandu and the World Heritage Center. We value the expert suggestions and are committed to make progress in our work to maintain the OUB of the properties. We look forward to further cooperation in mobilizing international resources and expertise in coming days. Nepal has successfully completed democratic local elections very recently. This paves ways for effective local participation, which will further expedite the process of conservation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation of cultural heritage, and it will reinvigorate the process of OUV of Kathmandu Valley Old Heritage Property. In view of the achievements made so far, along with our efforts and commitment to the cause, the Government of Nepal humbly requests to this honorable committee for their understanding and consideration for not placing Kathmandu Valley Old Heritage Property in danger list, and let Nepal to move forward with conservation, reconstruction, and rehabilitation activities with the support of UNESCO and international community as per our recovery master plan. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. First time I shall emphasize that we are running out of time, but anyway, I'm giving the floor to ICOMOS to respond in short as the question of the distinguished delegation of Philippines is concerned. ICOMOS.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The distinguished delegate of the Philippines asked the question as to whether another reactive monitoring mission would be valuable, because this is what is envisaged in the amended draft decision, which asks for a reactive monitoring mission to ascertain the progress accomplished by the State Party in implementing the 6-year plan and to give guidance on reviewing it. First of all, I'd like to say that the reactive monitoring mission that took place in March, that was actually its remit, to look at progress accomplished by the State Party. And the very detailed, very long report sets out just that. So, in our view, another reactive monitoring mission which sets out to do the same thing would not be very effective. In ICOMOS's view, other guidance is needed to review or supplement the recovery plan to address some of the concerns of the reactive monitoring mission that took place in March. We fully appreciate all the work that is being done by the State Party, but nevertheless, the reactive monitoring mission did express some specific concerns about certain aspects of the activities, and we consider that these could be addressed, but not through a reactive monitoring mission. A reactive monitoring mission can suggest things, it cannot really help in undertaking them. And what we feel is needed is more help in actually undertaking some of the actions that the reactive monitoring mission delineated and suggested. So we would suggest that a different format of working, perhaps an advisory mission, perhaps some other mechanism would be more appropriate than another reactive monitoring mission.
Thank you. Thank you. And now Turkey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Having listened to the comments and very valuable considerations of my colleagues, I have 2 more points to make with your permission. Of course, I do understand the number of misgivings of my colleagues, my Portuguese colleague. Of course, I do understand the rationale behind it. However, there were 4 properties which, after having been inscribed to the danger list, which have benefited neither from the World Heritage Fund nor any extra budgetary resources. And there were other 4 properties which have been funded only by extra budgetary resources and no amount provided from the World Heritage Fund. This goes at least some way to show that being inscribed in the danger list does not really guarantee the assistance which the states need. In this understanding, as in the case of Nepal, if the State Party sincerely desires for more time, and in the meantime shows a true, verifiable commitment to the improvement of the property, we think it makes more sense to give this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. And now we shall directly go to the decision, and it is not a secret that it will be a challenge for us. I can see the split. But anyway, Mr. the Rapporteur, if you could give us the information concerning the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We have amendments proposed by distinguished delegate of Turkey. I'm going just to read those paragraphs which has been modified because we have problem of time also. So the paragraph 1, 2, 3, you can see paragraph 3, there's little addition in the 6-year planning for the recovery of monuments damaged by earthquake. Paragraph 4 has not been modified. Paragraph 5, there was a little bit modification and deletion of the second part. Paragraph 6, a little modification. Paragraph 7, there was no modification. Mr. Chair, paragraph 8, 9, and 10 has been deleted. A new proposal has been done for paragraph 8, which requests the state party to fully commit to use appropriate methods and material in recovery work. We have a new paragraph 9 also, reiterates its request that the state party integrate the recovery master plan within overall socio-economic revitalization program for urban communities, encourage residents and local business to engage in recovery process and ensure that it delivers wide-range socio-economic benefit. The original paragraph 11 now becomes paragraph 10 without any change. New paragraph 11 has been introduced, which reads, further request the state party to invite a joint World Heritage Committee, World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, ICROM Reactive Monitoring Mission to ascertain the progress accomplished by the state party in implementation of 6-year recovery management plan, master plan, and to give guidance on reviewing it. Paragraph 12, there's addition at the end. I read all paragraph 12 because it's important one. Also request the state party to submit to the World Heritage Center by 1st February 2018 an up-to-date report on the state of conservation of the property and the implementation of the above examination by the World Heritage Committee at its 42nd session in 2018 with a view to consider, in absence of significant progress the possibility inscription of the property on the World Heritage in danger. This has been proposed by the distinguished delegate of Turkey, Mr. Chair.
I see. Thank you. Portugal. Excellency, you have the floor. And shall we go back to the beginning of the document? The floor is yours. It was my understanding that you wish to get the floor. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. Very briefly, as I said that I would comment further when I had seen the revision. Let me very quickly tell you that I took a note of the statement of the distinguished representative of Nepal. Perhaps it will be easier for you than you think. I do hope that in meeting the state party's request for Kathmandu Valley not to be placed in endangered list, even if this is not and should not be viewed as some kind of punishment, as I already have said, that this will constitute indeed an additional incentive to Nepal to engage in addressing the concerns related to the reconstruction and recovery of the property. We hope that we will be able thus to register significant progress in this matter at this committee's meeting next year. So, Mr. President, I can live with the proposed changes that Turkey has presented, but I do think that on paragraph 11, as suggested by ICOMOS, one should be talking about an advisory mission and not a reactive mission. Thank you.
Thank you for this essential support. So, thank you. I can see also the approval from the side of Turkey. Lebanon wishes to take the floor.
Oui, Monsieur le Président. Oui, bon, OK. On peut accepter ce type de choses. Mais la question que je me pose, c'est dans ces conditions, sur le paragraphe 12, pourquoi répéter encore, afin de considérer en l'absence de progrès significatif l'inscription éventuelle du bien sur la liste du patrimoine en péril? Nous faisons ça chaque année et jamais on l'inscrit. C'est peut-être même plus nécessaire de le mettre, sinon les gens vont se moquer de nous, je veux dire. Chaque année, on dit, ah oui, on va regarder, on va regarder, on va regarder. Peut-être qu'il faut supprimer tout ça. Si vous considérez qu'il ne faut pas mettre le site en péril, ben ne le mettons plus en péril et c'est terminé. C'est plus la peine chaque fois de répéter ce type de choses qui ne sert à rien en réalité.
Merci, thank you. Cuba, the floor is yours.
Sí, muchas gracias, señor presidente. Es que justamente era lo que decía esta delegación ayer. Estamos condicionando en el párrafo 12, cuando tenemos esa frase a fin de considerar si su eventual inscripción en la lista en peligro, siempre se está manifestando de una manera condicionada el resultado final. Era solo para aprovechar esta ocasión, que fue lo mismo que señalamos ayer para un proyecto de decisión de esta naturaleza.
Gracias. So, anyway, let's start to... I understand that we can remove this paragraph when we reach this paragraph. Anyway, we shall start from the beginning. Good. So, allow me please to go through all those paragraphs. Para 1, adopted. Para 2, adopted. Para 3, adopted as amended. Para 4, adopted. Para 5, adopted as amended. Para 6, adopted as amended. Para 7, adopted. Para 8, para 8 in the new version, adopted as amended. Para 9, adopted as amended. Para 10, adopted. Para 11, yes, I would like just to emphasize that it should be not a reactive monitoring mission, but advisory mission. Yes, yes, yes. So, adopted as amended. And finally, para 12. I wonder if Turkey would like to comment this final paragraph also in respect with the remark made by the distinguished delegate of Cuba. Turkey, the floor is yours.
Yes, we do agree. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
So we can delete and adopt as amended. It means Philippines. Would you like to take the floor?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
The floor is yours, Ambassador.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do not want to block consensus, but we just want to put in the record that we prefer that the deleted part is retained, and we think that if the situation remains, then let's just delete everything under the danger list. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this very bitter remark. Cuba again.
Sí, gracias, señor presidente. Yo quería aprovechar para hacer una observación. Y yo creo que este comité y sus órganos consultivos debe moderar un poco el lenguaje de las decisiones. Yo creo que es el único comité de la UNESCO en que vemos poco reconocimiento al trabajo de los estados, en que vemos una formulación positiva a algunas de las recomendaciones. Esto ayudaría mucho a los estados en un ánimo de mayor cooperación. Es un problema de buenas maneras y de ser un poco más polite. Llamo la atención porque hay otras decisiones en que también hemos visto lenguajes extremadamente duros para con los Estados miembros, y en ocasiones el Estado miembro no es depositario de la verdad absoluta, o las ONG o otros actores tienen la facultad completa y son depositarios de la verdad absoluta. Yo creo que es algo que tenemos que manejar y que hemos logrado avanzar en otros órganos de la UNESCO en aras de esa cooperación que hemos estado viniendo hablando desde el primer día de esta reunión. Muchas gracias, señor presidente.
Gracias. I understand that it is also a matter of convention, but anyway, I shall declare right now decision 41.7b.95 adopted as amended finally, which means that we shall now try to open our discussion on Fort and Shalimar Gardens in Lahore, Pakistan. I invite Mrs. Juni Han, Program Specialist at the Asia Pacific Unit of the World Heritage Center, to present the next report. Madam, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Can I? Yes. Okay, yes. The details of the conservation issues identified for the property, Fort and Shalimar Gardens, are summarized in the working document 41.7b Addendum 2 on pages from 26 to 29 of the English version and from 26 to 30 of the French version. A debrief meeting was organized with the ambassador and the permanent delegation of Pakistan to UNESCO prior to the current session of the committee. The members of the committee may recall that it reviewed the state of conservation of the property last year and expressed its serious concern about the development of the Orange Line Metro project. It furthermore requested the state party to prepare a visual impact study of the project to be presented to the World Heritage Center and the advisor bodies before pursuing the works of the Orange Line Metro associated with the Shalimar Gardens. The committee also requested the state party to invite a joint World Heritage Center ICMOS reactive monitoring mission at its earliest convenience, the result of which would serve the basis for a further examination of the 41st session of the committee with a view to considering whether there is an ascertained or potential danger to the outstanding universal value of the property for a possible inscription on the list of the World Heritage in danger. However, neither the visual impact study nor the invitation to the requested reactive monitor mission has been received in the World Heritage Center. The state party informed the Secretariat that the requested reactive monitoring mission would be invited as soon as the Supreme Court of Pakistan has released its final verdict on the Orange Line Metro case, and the visual impact study would also be submitted as soon as it has been finalized. In this regard, it would be of vital importance to have a comprehensive heritage impact assessment of the Orange Line Metro project in line with the ICMOS guidelines. On the other hand, it would be important to note that although the Orange Line Metro construction work associated to Shalimar Gardens stopped within a radius of 61 meters, following the decision of the Lahore High Court made on the basis of the Antiquities Act 1975 that restricts all constructions within a distance of 200 feet of a protected site. The construction work progressed beyond this 61-meter radius limit. Hence, by the time of the preparation of the working document, it had reached 130 meters to the west to Shalimar Gardens south elevation and 345 meters to the east of the entrance to the property. If these two east-west sections are joined by an elevated track, the horizontal distance of the proposed elevated viaduct deck is 17.8 meters from the southwest corner and 24 meters from southeast corner, respectively, of Shalimar Gardens. The vertical distance from the bottom of the proposed viaduct deck is 12 meters from the road level and 8.25 meters from the last remaining hydraulic work associated to Shalimar Gardens. Consequently, taking into consideration, number one, the impacts of the ongoing construction work on the setting and integrity of the gardens. Number two, the absence of a comprehensive management mechanism which can control and monitor urban encroachment, as well as the related development project in the vicinity of the project. And lastly, the absence of any mitigation measure proposed by the state party. The committee may wish to consider the inscription of the property on the list of World Heritage in danger in accordance with paragraph 179B of the operational guidelines. Mr. Chair, dear members of the committee, the draft decision 41-7B Addendum 2 96 can be found in the same working document on pages of 28 and 29 of the English version and from 28 to 30 of the French version. Please also allow me to inform you that the representative of the Distinguished Observer Delegation of Pakistan is present in the room to comment on this item if requested by the committee. With your permission, Mr. Chair, ICOMOS may wish to provide further technical comment on this property. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam, and the floor goes to ICOMOS. ICOMOS, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Although the work on the Orange Elevated Metro Line was stopped by the High Court in August 2016, within 61 meters of the Shalimar Gardens, this was for its status as a heritage site, along with 10 other buildings, some relating to Shah Jahan along the start of the Mughal Road from Lahore Fort to Delhi, and not for its inscription as a World Heritage property. So far, the World Heritage status of the Shalimar Gardens does not appear to have been taken into account in planning the Orange Line network, and as no heritage impact assessment has been carried out, and nor has the requested visual impact assessment been undertaken, the potential impact on the outstanding universal value of the property has not been formally defined. It is thus not clear on what basis it is stated that the project does not impact adversely on the property, nor on what basis the government of Punjab issued a non-objection certificate. It can only be presumed that purely physical impact is the impact that was considered. From the information provided on the ongoing construction, it is clear that the height and bulk of those parts of the elevated line that have been constructed either side of the Shalimar Gardens are already impacting adversely on the setting of the gardens, and that this impact would be increased greatly if the two parts of the line are subsequently joined. The government of the Punjab has appealed against the verdict of the High Court, and the appeal decision is awaited. Although ICOMOS fully supports the principle of a mass transit system delivered through a metro line, without adequate impact assessments, it's impossible to consider any appropriate mitigation measures. It is clear that it is necessary to stop further work on the line in order to undertake such necessary impact assessments and to consider all possible mitigating measures, including moving the alignment of the section near the Shalimar Gardens. We're dealing here with the Royal Gardens constructed by Shah Jahan and inscribed in 1981 as an outstanding example of Mughal artistic expression at the apogee of its development and as a place of harmony and beauty. The gardens are part of a serial property with the Lahore Fort, and the two are linked by the Mughal Trunk Road. The importance of the Shalimar Gardens thus does not just lie within its walls. Its relationship with the road and its setting are of crucial importance as well. ICOMOS considers that the threat to these gardens from the Orange Line Metro should be acknowledged and every measure possible explored to mitigate or reverse them. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I now invite the committee members to express their comments. Turkey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We think that Pakistan exerts its efforts to keep a balance between the infrastructure development imperatives and conservation of the Fort and Shalimar Gardens in Lahore. The government of Pakistan reassures us that the Orange Line would not damage the Shalimar Gardens in any way, and it seems that extra care has been undertaken in project's design and as well as in its construction and engineering plans to ensure the protection and conservation of the property. For instance, in order to protect the property and its integrity, the alignment plan has given special care to the train track by creating a maximum possible distance of 135 feet, that is 41.1 meters, from the main entrance of the Shalimar Gardens. We also discussed SOC report of this site at the 40th session and came up with the request of an updated version by 1st February 2017, provision of a visual impact study of the metro project, and invitation to World Heritage Center reactive monitoring mission to Lahore for discussing the earliest. The detailed SOC report has already been submitted to the World Heritage Center. The visual impact study, which was one of the main works requested by the committee last year, is at final stages of completion and will be furnished to the center shortly. Inviting the reactive monitoring mission to Lahore has been delayed due to legal reasons, as the issue of heritage sites located along the Orange Line project, including Shalimar Gardens, is presently sub judice before the Supreme Court of Pakistan. As soon as the court renders its judgment, the reactive monitoring mission would be invited for a visit, and we do understand that the court's decision should be taken within less than a month. It is reported by the advisory bodies that the heritage impact assessment submitted in 2016 is not compatible with neither international standards nor ICOMOS guidelines. However, we have examined this. It seems to us to include every essential technical aspect necessary in an impact assessment, and therefore we would welcome if ICOMOS could please specifically explain that from which aspects it has considered it as insufficient. On this occasion, we may recommend the Secretariat to share the heritage impact assessment reports in the database of the properties of the World Heritage Center websites in order to allow members of the committee to examine those reports together with the advisory bodies. In conclusion, Mr. Chairman, as we consider that the state party is very much close to finalize the implementation of previous committee decisions, and the committee should not take a decision for danger listing before a reactive monitoring mission, we are in favor of reconsideration of the draft decision and allowing further time to Pakistan to fully implement decision taken in Istanbul last year. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador. Now the floor goes to Azerbaijan. Azerbaijan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. First of all, we would like to express our warm gratitude to World Heritage Center, ICOMOS, and all relevant institutions for their hard work and care for the site of Lahore. As we know, the revised World Heritage Site consists of two parts, Fort of Lahore and Shalimar Garden. The distance between them is 7 kilometers. However, expected trees could have a place with one part of the site only. The expected trees could be done by the metro line construction close to the Shalimar Gardens. The real situation of the day are following. Lahore city is the second biggest city in Pakistan with a population over the 10 million. The road in front of the main gate of Shalimar Garden is one of the main roads of the city. It's artery of the city. Hundreds of traditional quarters and traditional private houses are located around of the Shalimar Gardens. A lot of city public institutions and agencies are located along the road artery too. The urban layout and roads among the Shalimar Gardens are a history of the city. All of them were constructed with and after the Shalimar Gardens. It's an urban living heritage too. It's the soul of the city. The following works are already done by the state party. No work within the 61 meters of the property is being undertaken since January 2016. The alignment of the Orange Line project has already been altered to attain its maximum possible distance from the property. The metro line redesigned and moved on 41 meters from the main gate of the Shalimar Garden. New redesigned project will have no adverse impact on the site. Detailed state of conservation report has been submitted to the World Heritage Center outlining all protective measures of the state party concerning the property. The Archaeology Department, Government of Punjab, has put in place a comprehensive management mechanism under the provision of the Antiquities Act 1975, accepted by UNESCO in 2006. The visual impact assessment report is in final stages of completion and will be soon presented to the World Heritage Center. State party is going to invite reactive monitoring mission as soon as the Honorable Supreme Court announces its decision in the case of Orange Line Metro train project. Against this background, we believe that it is not correct to prejudge the state of the conservation of the property without outcomes of the reactive monitoring mission. So Azerbaijan is in favor of giving additional time to state party and do not support the decision to inscribe the property to the list in danger. Thank you.
Thank you. Now Finland. Finland has the floor.
Thank you, Chair. During the last committee meeting, we gave the state party additional time to continue the dialogue with ICOMOS to reach a satisfactory solution to the situation. The committee requested the state party to invite a reactive monitoring mission and undertake a visual impact study. Unfortunately, neither of these had been carried out before this year's committee meeting. As a result of useful discussions with our distinguished colleagues from the State Party of Pakistan, we have learned that the visual impact study is in the process of finalization and will be submitted to the World Heritage Center as soon as possible. The preparation of such study has taken longer than the State Party had wished. The reactive monitoring mission has not taken place due to a case pending in the Supreme Court. Finland still thinks that the visual impact study is the most critical document in this case. Without that, we cannot assess the impact of the project. Even though the construction project has not yet entered the buffer zone, it has proceeded to a point where mitigation measures will be difficult to undertake if the visual impact study indicates that the project will affect the outstanding universal value of the site. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Kuwait. Kuwait has Excellency. The floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Ma délégation félicite le gouvernement pakistanais pour les efforts entrepris afin de sauvegarder le fort de Lahore et les jardins de Shalimar. Et l'étude fournie de manière édifiante soumise par le gouvernement concerné, qui a pris en compte la mise en place d'un équilibre équitable entre l'importance du site et de sa préservation en fonction de bases précises d'un côté et le développement de la ville de Lahore de l'autre côté. Nous soutenons la demande de l'opposition du Pakistan pour continuer à inclure ce site sur la liste de patrimoine en péril, ainsi que l'opposition d'annuler la ligne de métro dans la ville ou le changement de la direction, et de donner au Pakistan plus de temps pour mettre en œuvre la recommandation du comité précédent, et de poursuivre le dialogue constructif entre le Pakistan et le secrétariat général du Centre de patrimoine mondial et le Conseil consultatif. J'aimerais bien en plus savoir quelles sont les raisons qui ont empêché l'État parti d'héberger la mission de suivi réactif. J'aimerais bien poser la question pour l'État parti. Merci.
Merci. Thank you. Now Cuba. Cuba has the floor.
Gracias, señor presidente. Nuestra delegación también desea apoyar las intervenciones que han hecho los delegados que nos han antecedido, en el entendido de que debemos esperar que avance un poco más. Quizás un año podría parecer para algunos países mucho tiempo, quizás para otros países, los países en desarrollo, es un poco más complicado. Y yo creo que es un elemento que hay que tener en cuenta. Creo que es importante conocer y darle la palabra al Estado parte para saber en qué punto está ese proceso ante el Tribunal Supremo, y esta delegación cree que podríamos esperar ese informe de impacto visual, esos resultados de la Corte, para que tenga lugar esta misión de monitoreo reactivo y así poder examinar este tema un poco más adelante con toda la información en la mano. Y le pido, señor presidente, si pudiéramos dar la palabra al Estado parte para poder evacuar algunas de las preguntas que se han formulado en esta sala. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. No doubt, finally, we will ask kindly the state party to take the floor, but now Vietnam. Vietnam has the floor. Vietnam. You have asked to take the floor, so the floor is yours. Vietnam.
Notre délégation a appris que l'État du Pakistan a décidé d'éloigner la ligne orange de métro de 41 mètres du jardin de Shalimar, c'est-à-dire le déplacer à l'extérieur du zone tampon. Nous apprécions cet effort qui vise à réduire le plus possible l'impact de la ligne de métro sur le patrimoine. Nous comprenons que c'est difficile de prendre une telle décision qui coûte certainement cher au Pakistan, un pays en voie de développement, qui doit veiller en même temps à protéger le patrimoine et à faire face à l'énorme pression quotidienne d'assurer un service de transport public indispensable pour sa population qui est très dense à Lahore. En ce qui concerne la mission de suivi réactif, nous avons aussi l'information que le pays va émettre l'invitation tout de suite après le verdict final de la Cour suprême sur le projet de la ligne orange du métro, et il semble que ce verdict serait pris très prochainement. Ainsi, nous estimons raisonnable que le comité attend le rapport de cette mission avant de décider de mettre ce site dans la liste en péril. En même temps, nous encourageons le Pakistan de coopérer étroitement avec les organes consultatifs et le Centre du patrimoine mondial. Merci, monsieur.
Merci. Thank you. Now, Lebanon. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Rapidement, nous soutenons le projet d'amendement proposé par le distingué ambassadeur de Turquie et souhaitons entendre l'État parti. Merci.
Merci. The United Republic of Tanzania. Tanzania, the floor is yours. Sir.
Thank you, Chair. This delegation is totally convinced that the state party is taking necessary precaution measures to make sure that the project does not impact to the site. But we have also taken note of the analysis made by the advisory body, ICOMOS. But since this matter has been taken to the court, this delegation advised that after the court ruling, the state party should invite the reactive monitoring mission to make an assessment, and then the outcome of this mission, then we'll decide whether this site should be put in danger list or not. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Now the floor goes to Portugal. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. This is yet a difficult issue for this committee, as we saw last year in Istanbul, and as it has been recalled by our Finnish colleague. We are yet again facing the tension between World Heritage conservation needs versus economic and social development, and a very significant need to strike a sustainable balance between these two very real and tangible responsibilities. It seems to be evident that the passage of the elevated track of the Orange Metro line will have an impact on the property if the project proceeds as planned in the immediate vicinity of the Shalimar Gardens. That impact can and shall be minimized at the largest extent possible so that the OEV of the property is not irremediably affected. In this view, it is still necessary that the State Party provide a comprehensive heritage impact assessment in line with ICOMOS guidelines, and that such assessment should go beyond that vibration impact. We know that an appeal to the Supreme Court has been lodged by the Punjab government against a ruling by the Lahore High Court to stop the work near the property, and that the decision may be imminent. We fully respect these institutional and judicial processes. They are part of democratic life. But we regret that the reactive monitoring mission to the property, as requested by this committee at its last session as a matter of urgency, has not yet been possible. That would have helped this committee to make a fuller evaluation of the situation on the ground and take a decision that upholds the principles of the 1972 Convention while bearing in mind the relevance of social and economic sustainable development. In this sense, I look forward to the statement by the distinguished representative of Pakistan and the revised version proposed by Turkey. And I might afterwards comment further. I thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Ambassador. Kazakhstan, the floor is yours. Madam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. As we were assured in the case of the Orange Line, technical studies such as vibration analysis and environmental impact assessment done prior to initiation of the project indicated that this project would not place any adverse impact on the setting and appearance of the property. None of the OUV-bearing attributes, plan, water features, garden structures, and decorative elements directly or indirectly impacted by the Orange Line alignment. There is no negative visual impact on the property as the garden was designed as a royal enclosure with high surrounding walls, defining closed and restricted space. This space will not be impacted by the Orange Line. Another important issue for all of us as an expert society is to make decisions based only on the analysis of detailed official reports. In our case, the report of reactive monitoring mission, visual impact assessment, and response of the State Party. Based on that, we consider it necessary to retain the request to the State Party to invite a joint World Heritage Center ICOMOS reactive monitoring mission as soon as it will be possible upon legal national basis. In view of the above mentioned, the delegation of Kazakhstan supports the amendment proposed by the distinguished Turkish delegation. Thank you.
Thank you. Jamaica. Jamaica has the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Jamaica commends the State Party for its clear commitment to ensure that the integrity and authenticity of this distinctive site is preserved, while not discounting the obvious gaps in the reporting to UNESCO, including the non-submission of a visual impact study, and paying keen attention to the potential negative impact to the Shalimar Gardens with respect to the proposed Orange Line track. Arguably, a major issue at hand surrounds how to strike a balance between heritage preservation and infrastructure development that facilitates social and economic advancement. it would appear that the state party is seeking to address both matters, as the welfare of its people is a major consideration, as to the commitment to preserve the Shalimar Gardens for the peoples of the world. With this in mind, and based on careful examination of the reports provided, we are of the view that the state party should be afforded the opportunity to provide an updated state of conservation report that speaks to many of the concerns that raised by the advisory body. This will allow the state party to implement actions as needed. It will be important that the reactive monitoring mission is undertaken as a matter of urgency. If the state party is unable to provide the information it has indicated is forthcoming in the short term, then the possibility of inclusion to the danger list may need to be contemplated during the 42nd session of the World Heritage Committee. On a final note, Mr. Chairman, we would like to add our voice to the call for sustained and creative communications and public education program that will bring across a message that says the danger list is not a blight on our sites and countries. Thank you.
Thank you. Jamaica now. Indonesia. Indonesia, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Indonesia would like to commend the advisory body on its report on the state of conservation of the fort and Shalimar Gardens. We take note of the report made by advisory body and the comprehensive information it was provided. It is our understanding that Pakistan is now constructing the Orange Line metro, in which the proximity is fairly close to the property. However, we receive information from the state party that in order to protect the integrity of the property, the government of Pakistan has created maximum possible distance from the main entrance of Shalimar Garden. And we understand that the state party is still waiting to the decision of the Supreme Court. We understand that necessary steps should be taken in order to adjust to urban development, and providing appropriate infrastructure to public transportation is one of the most important. Hence, we trust that it will be in line with efforts of preserving the property to be in its required state of conservation. In addition, Indonesia would like to highlight that close monitoring needs to be undertaken so that any negative impact can be mitigated as soon as possible. We believe that it is appropriate to allow the state party to provide further explanation on the measures taken to keep the balance between conservation and development. We therefore would like to request the chair of the committee to give the floor to the state party to further describe the necessary step being taken. Thank you.
Thank you. Poland. Poland, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For not to prolong our debate, I would like just express our support for what will be said presented by Turkey. Thank you.
Thank you. The Republic of Korea.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Last year in our committee, we had discussed the development project of the Orange Line taking place outside the boundary of the fort and Shalimar Gardens in Lahore. We highly recognize and appreciate the persistent efforts pursued by the government of Pakistan since our last discussion to conserve the property. However, Korea also believes that the visual impact study of the Orange Metro Line is most important to determine the impact of the proposed development, together with the reactive monitoring mission requested by the committee in our last session, in order to reach a constructive decision. We understand that certain steps within the domestic arena can take more time than originally anticipated, especially when there are legal issues involved. As they foresee the Supreme Court decision to be reached within a matter of few weeks, perhaps we may be able to grant a little more time to the state party to prepare the necessary information as requested. Therefore, we would also like to echo the requests from other members of the committee to hear from the State Party of Pakistan regarding the domestic situation and plan of implementation of the requests made by the committee. Thank you.
Thank you. And now, Burkina Faso. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Ma délégation note que depuis la 40e session, même si les rapports des organisations consultatives laissent percevoir que certaines mesures collectives n'ont pas été totalement prises pour satisfaire certaines attentes, force est de constater que l'État partie a fourni des efforts qui attendent encore d'être rendus publics. Dans ce sens, nous rejoignons certains intervenants pour aussi exprimer notre attachement à ce qu'on puisse donner un peu plus de temps à l'État partie pour produire davantage des résultats, surtout au regard du processus de gestion aussi complexe que celui-ci. Nous voulons donc aussi soutenir la proposition de donner la parole à l'État partie pour qu'elle puisse donner de plus amples précisions sur ses intentions sur ces points. Je vous remercie.
Merci. So it's time to ask kindly the State Party to take the floor. Pakistan, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Pakistan's commitment to conservation and protection of heritage is resolute and unwavering. This august body may recall that WHC in its 40th session required some follow-up actions in Pakistan. Firstly, the state of conservation report of the Shalimar Gardens was submitted within time. Secondly, the Reactive Monitoring Mission was to be invited to the said gardens to review protective arrangements. We have not been able to invite the mission so far because the issue of protection of Shalimar Gardens is pending adjudication in the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan. Legal propriety compels us to wait for the court's decision before inviting the mission. In our letter dated 8th March 2017, we conveyed to the Centre that the mission will be invited immediately after court's decision is announced. In our expectation, the court's decision may be released within the next 15 days. We stand by that commitment to the WHC. Thirdly, the requirement of visual impact study was also appropriately attended to. An international consultant was engaged in line with the local procurement laws to carry out the study, which is presently at its final stages of completion. I may add that we had to ensure that the study is of a standard that could stand the rigor of an international scrutiny. Plus, our local procurement laws allows us a certain procedure which is a little lengthy to hire international consultants, and that's why it has took a little bit longer than necessary. In our letter dated 29th May 2017, we had intimated to the World Heritage Center that the study will be submitted as soon as finalized. In our view, at the current situation, by the end of next month, we think that we should be able to share the study with the Center for its review. I may add that consultants of the project considered all possible alignment options in front of Shalimar Gardens. In view of the state party's resolve to protect and conserve the authenticity, integrity, and OUV of the property, the consultants were instructed to make necessary adjustments accordingly. A curve was designed in the alignment, taking it away from the property to ensure that the property is not adversely affected in any way. This necessitated acquiring additional land and relocating many families. At the present stage of development, any further change in the alignment is not possible due to technical and social reasons, as it would entail massive dislocation of local population. Balance between the needs of urban economic development and protecting the OUV of the property has been carefully maintained. Mr. Chairman, we reiterate our strong commitment to the protection and conservation of our heritage. In view of our unequivocal commitment to implementing the decisions of the 40th session of the WHC, We slightly felt dismayed with the unjustified and somewhat harsh draft decisions that have been suggested without the visit of the mission, which would have been given an opportunity to consult the state party and bring evidence on record. We would be pleased to clarify any further issues if so required, but at the end, let me say that all of the studies that have been conducted so far, and they spread over a period of 10 years, starting in 2007, none of the studies has indicated any negative impact on the property, and whatever little mitigatable impact is indicated, all mitigation measure plans are in position and will be followed meticulously. I thank you very much, Excellency.
Thank you. And now, ICOMOS, if you could kindly respond to the question. The floor is yours. Just in short, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We were asked a question by the Honourable Delegate of Turkey, who asked about the impact assessment and why we did not consider it to be satisfactory. Well, first of all, it did not assess any alternatives. It assumed that the development would be happening. And it didn't consider all impacts, particularly visual impact, which we are now looking at as has been discussed. And where it did suggest impacts, it didn't draw any particular conclusions. So overall, I mean, it was thorough in one respect, but overall it didn't really meet the requirements of a heritage impact assessment in giving us a conclusion on the impact on OUV, having assessed all the direct and indirect impacts that might be possible, or look at mitigation measures such as alternatives. Thank you.
Thank you. So now it's time to try to adopt the draft decision 41.7b.96 concerning this property. I would like to ask kindly Mr. Juma, our rapporteur, to inform us about received amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, we have amendment from distinguished delegation of Turkey. As you can see, the proposed draft decision there. The paragraph 1 and paragraph 2 was left as it is. Paragraph 2, paragraph 3, 4, 5 has been deleted. And now we have new paragraph 3, we can say, which read notes that the reactive monitoring mission will be invited immediately after the decision of Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan is announced. Paragraph 6 also has been deleted, and the new paragraph now will be paragraph 4 is introduced. Also note that the state party is undertaking measures to control and monitor urban encroachment and stress upon the need to expedite this process as far as possible, and request the state party to further improve the collaboration with related national and local authorities, implementation of management plan. Paragraph 7, Mr. Chairman and Delegate Member, has been deleted. Paragraph 8, deleted. Paragraph 9, which is now become 5, partly deleted. The first part has been deleted, but there's a new introduction. Request the state party. A has been deleted, B has been deleted partly, and new B has been added. To urgently complete and share with World Heritage Center the visual impact study as decided by World Heritage Committee at its fourth session as soon as possible. Part C has been deleted. Now we have new, to be part B. The new part has been added. To invite joint World Heritage Center ICOMOS reactive monitoring mission to the property immediately after the announcement of decision of the Honorable Supreme Court of Pakistan to examine the Orange Lion Metro Train project and to discuss the same with relevant government authority and to review the management and protection arrangement of the property. Paragraph 10, which is original 10, now become paragraph 6 with slight modification. Last part has been deleted. Paragraph 7, 8, and 9, which was paragraph 11, 12, 13, now become 7, 8, and 9, has not been modified, Mr. Chairman. This is a proposal decision.
Thank you. Turkey wishes to take the floor. Turkey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. We firstly thank to ICOMOS for the very concrete and brief explanations with regards to our questions in respect to the heritage impact assessment analysis. In order to facilitate and in order to have a very fruitful evaluation and assessment of the draft decision, we have a very small remark on this issue. As we investigated and examined the file submitted by the state party to the Secretariat, the heritage impact assessment has somehow very deepened explanations with regard to the attributes of the property and to which levels it will be affected, influenced by the proposed projects. And regarding the visual impact assessment, it's because it is another study that is conducted by the state parties at the same time, simultaneously, to heritage impact assessments. We believe that it is due to this situation of the state party that this issue may not be taken in-depthly within this heritage impact assessments. And also we believe that there are some alternatives that are discussed and the mitigations are highlighted within the reports. We have some different views in that regard with ICOMOS, and we believe heritage impact as the project conducted by recognized experts in the international level, which are very much familiar with UNESCO guidelines. We believe that the high value should be appreciated by the committee members as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So now let's start to go through the document. Could you kindly, Finland wishes to take the floor. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Just because this amendment has deleted quite heavily here, so to make, we are not having much time to make the process quicker, I would like to hear ICOMOS' view on the proposed amendment and whether there are certain parts that they would recommend us to keep for practical reasons. Thank you.
ICOMOS, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for allowing us to look through this and decide whether we would like anything kept that has been deleted. Quite a bit of what's been deleted is taking note of or regrets or expresses concern at, and those are the parts that have been deleted. What we're left with is the, if you like, the actions. So if the committee takes the decision to take out the commentary, if I can put it that way, that I don't think is anything for ICOMOS to object to. And the actual requests in relation to the mission and the visual impact study and remain, and those are the key issues at the moment. Thank you.
Thank you. So let's try anyway to go through the draft decision. Para 1 adopted, para 2 adopted, new para 3 adopted as amended, para 4 adopted as amended, Finland, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. On para 5, as pointed out by Jamaica in a previous decision, we should on point A, we should end the sentence with giving a date at latest by the 1st of December 2017. Thank you.
Thank you. Shall we go to the whole para 5, because it is quite a long paragraph. Adopted as amended. The next, please. Para 6. Adopted as amended. Para 7. Adopted. Para 8. Adopted. Para 9. Adopted. Which means that I shall declare decision 41,7b.96 adopted as amended, and now the floor goes to NGO present. Madam, the floor is yours. 2 minutes, please.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Chair, members of the committee, colleagues and friends. My name is Imrana Tiwana. I am an architect, urbanist, and heritage specialist. I am humbled to represent the vibrant and dynamic civil society of Pakistan through the Lahore Conservation Society, a network of highly specialized professionals and experts, including conservationists, architects, engineers, transport and urban planners, economists, environmentalists, historians, etc., working for 28 years to save the soul of the 4,000-year-old heritage city of Lahore. The Lahore Conservation Society welcomes and fully endorses UNESCO's draft decision, both in letter and spirit, and urges the committee to immediately adopt it. We are deeply disappointed with the proceedings. The 27.1 km Orange Train project is a national disaster, costing $3 billion, serving less than 2% of the population, violating all the laws. It poses an irreversible and permanent threat to the site, compromising the authenticity, integrity, and OUV for the following reasons. There has been no compliance to UNESCO directives WHC 1640.com7B43. The Orange Line passes within the 200-foot buffer zone, and the alignment has not served any purpose. I think we forget that the hydraulic works are part of the heritage site. The piers of the train are 3.2 meters away from the hydraulic works, and the highly visible viaduct will be directly above the heritage site itself. My question is, how can any one of us condone or accept this with integrity? This is severe violation of the law. The HIA is not in line with international standards, and all reports are flawed, misrepresentative, and professionally incompetent. No alternative solutions have been proposed as recommended by UNESCO. The state party has neither invited nor given visas to the joint World Heritage ICOMOS reactive mission. And most importantly, it is critical to note, and I would like to clarify this with urgency, that the court case has no bearing on the visit of the reactive monitoring mission. It is not sub judice. They are mutually exclusive, as confirmed and reconfirmed by our legal counsel. It is important to recognize these facts when we sit here to uphold the highest ideals of preserving heritage in our country. It was our recommendation that all work be stopped and that the committee inscribes the property on the World Heritage List. And I will end by saying here that we are all here for a purpose that is bigger than ourselves, that is a higher purpose. It is time for all of us to stand tall and take responsibility to uphold the ideals of the convention and to protect our shared world heritage. We will lose our collective memory and identity if we do not stand united to to these ideals. Thank you.
Thank you. I would like to invite Mr. Feng Jing to read the list of the cultural properties inscribed on the World Heritage List and located in the Asia-Pacific region, for which the reports are proposed for adoption without discussion. Mr. Jing, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. These cultural heritage sites are number 86, the Great Wall in China; number 87, Historical Center of Macau in China; number 89, Historical Monuments and Sites in Kaesong, Democratic People's Republic of Korea; number 90, Group of Monuments of Hampi in India; number 91, Cultural Landscape of Bali Province, the Subak system as a manifestation of the Trinika Karana philosophy, Indonesia; number 92, Maidan Imam Isfahan in Iran; number 93, Susa, again in Iran; number 94, Watpu and associated ancient settlements within the Champasak cultural landscape, Lao People's Democratic Republic; number 97, Historical Monuments at Makli, Tata in Pakistan; number 98, Historical City of Ayutthaya in Thailand; last one, number 99, Historical Center of Bukhara in Uzbekistan. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. If there is no objection from the committee on those state of conservation reports, I declare the decisions read out adopted. I would now like to ask whether any observer delegation would like to express themselves about one of the properties for which we have adopted the decision without discussion. I understand that there is NGO.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Madam,
my name is Jo In-suk, architect from Korea, the International Director of UIA Work Program Heritage. UIA, the International Union of Architects, is the organization of 1,300,000 architects worldwide. On behalf of UIA, let me convey this statement. The reporting on the state of conservation of World Heritage properties has indicated that there are growing threats to urban heritage through unsustainable development and weak management. With social transformations of our cities, there is an urgent need to address these issues and review the role of contemporary architecture in historic areas as indicated in the 2005 Vienna Memorandum and the 2011 UNESCO recommendation on the historic urban landscape. The UIA Work Program Heritage is committed to encouraging the appreciation of the contribution that architecture has to play in achieving the safeguarding of World Heritage. We call on the World Heritage Committee, the World Heritage Center, and the advisory bodies to join and engage the architectural profession to achieve these goals. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson, and thank you for your attention. Thank you.
Thank you. And now I'm giving the floor to Dr. Rezla to analyze the current situation. The situation is serious but not hopeless. We will solve that.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We had hoped that we would finish at 6:30 with the items under 7A and 7B. but this is not the case because there were 2 items left over from item 7A, which is Selous Game Reserve in Tanzania and Niokolo-Koba in Senegal. We need to do those, so we have made arrangements with our interpreters to stay on until 7 o'clock. So with your permission, we will go to these sites. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. With your permission. If so, I would like to give the floor to the delegation of Burkina Faso to present to the committee the reason why it requested to open the State of Conservation report on the Niokolo-Koba National Park, Senegal. Excellency, the floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Le Burkina Faso a demandé l'ouverture pour discussion du point 40 comme 7 à 16, Parc national du Niokolo-Koba, afin de permettre à l'État partie d'exprimer ses positions sur certains points mentionnés par UCN. Le parc a été inscrit sur la liste du patrimoine mondial en péril à cause du braconnage, du pâturage de bétail et du projet de construction du barrage de Samandougou. D'autres facteurs affectant aussi le bien ont été identifiés dans les rapports précédents de l'organisation consultative, dont l'exploitation minière potentielle. L'État partie reconnaît avoir accordé une concession minière à un projet aurifère, mais cette exploitation minière ne se situe pas à l'intérieur du parc national du Niokolo-Koba, ni dans sa zone tampon. Aussi, suivant les dispositions nationales réglementaires en matière d'environnement, la société Toro Gold a commandité une étude d'impact environnemental et social qui a été validée. En outre, la société a demandé à l'ONG Pantera un projet de protection intensifié qui couvrira la zone sud-est du parc justant le projet aurifère. Cela témoigne, à notre avis, à l'évidence de l'engagement de l'État partie à prendre toutes les précautions pour éviter tout impact sur la valeur universelle exceptionnelle du bien. La possibilité de l'État partie de pouvoir disposer de ces ressources peut lui être reconnue pourvu que l'exploitation de ces ressources n'impacte pas la vue du bien inscrit. Et sur ce point précisément, nous pensons à la suite des positions qui ont été précédemment exprimées sur des dossiers antérieurs, qu'il est question là d'une conciliation entre les exigences du développement et la protection des biens du patrimoine. Nous pensons qu'une réflexion plus large mériterait d'être poussée en vue d'orientations claires qui ne soient pas sujettes à des interprétations divergentes et qui pourraient constituer un référentiel. Monsieur le Président, la construction du barrage du Samba-Galou est toujours en étape de projet. L'État partie a indiqué clairement qu'aucune activité ne serait conduite sans au préalable une étude d'impact environnemental et social. Nous voulons donc que le comité puisse lui accorder du crédit. À d'autres égards, nous saluons les actions conduites par l'État en matière de lutte contre le braconnage et le renforcement des capacités du personnel en charge de la gestion du site. Toutes ces mesures sont à prendre en compte et nous voulons que cette coopération de l'État puisse être prise en compte et nous voulons proposer à cet égard des amendements au projet de décision, lesquels amendements, je précise, ont fait l'objet d'échanges et de consensus avec UCN et le Centre du patrimoine. Je vous remercie.
Merci, thank you. So the floor goes to Mr. Mukala and IUCN.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Il est à noter aussi que suite aux recommandations de la mission de suivi réactif de 2015, une assistance internationale a été accordée à l'État partie pour soutenir une des mesures prioritaires à savoir la réactualisation du plan de gestion du bien. De même, nous considérons que la mise en œuvre des mesures correctives demeure la priorité des actions à mener sur le bien. La présence d'une concession minière interpelle un suivi de près de l'étude d'impact environnemental et social du projet afin de tenir compte des préoccupations du comité et afin d'identifier une conception et un emplacement alternatif du projet qui n'aurait pas d'impact négatif sur la VIE du bien. L'absence des mesures d'atténuation pour la perte d'habitat des personnes en dehors du bien et le fait que les travaux ont commencé avant la mise en place d'une gestion adaptative pour atténuer les impacts directs au fur et à mesure de la mise en œuvre du projet interpelle aussi à ce sujet. Il est donc recommandé que le comité demande à l'État partie de prioriser la mise en œuvre des mesures correctives avant tout. Merci.
Thank you. Thank you. I wonder if your permission, the committee, we can go directly to the decision. Okay, so I would like to ask Mr. Juma if you could kindly present the amendments.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. We have a...
sorry, Burkina wishes to take the floor. Excellency.
Monsieur le Président, avec votre permission, je souhaiterais que l'État partie puisse déjà intervenir également pour apporter les précisions complémentaires, si vous ne trouvez pas d'inconvénient.
Of course.
Merci. Est-ce qu'on m'a donné la parole?
Yes. Yes, of course. Senegal, the floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Nous avons eu une réunion avec l'UCN et nous sommes tombés d'accord sur un consensus. Par conséquent, il n'est pas nécessaire de revenir sur toutes les explications. Je pense qu'on peut passer directement à l'examen de la décision. Merci.
Thank you. Mr. Juma, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. We have a proposed amendment in, I'm going quickly, paragraph 1, 2, 3, they're not amended. Paragraph 4, there's a slight addition. The new paragraph reads, also welcome the intensified project protection project prepared, discussed, and implemented following a memorandum of understanding concluded between National Park Directorate, Petowal Mining Company, and the NGO's Patena, covering the southern part of the property adjacent to the mining concession in Mako. Paragraph 5, there's slightly modification. They delete revised and the proposed monitor and implemented. Paragraph 6 remains as it is. Paragraph 7 has been deleted and there was new proposal which said, considering that the exploitation of mining is effective, request the state party to take all necessary measures to ensure that this exploitation has no negative impact on the outstanding universal value of the property, to enable the implementation of all corrective measures adopted by a committee in its decision 39-7A13. Mr. Chairman, paragraph 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 has not been modified. They remain as it was in draft decision. Thank you.
Thank you. It is a very good news. Burkina Faso. The floor is yours.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Juste préciser que nous avons de légères corrections au niveau du paragraphe 5 que nous souhaiterons faire prendre en compte.
Paragraph 5.
Yes.
So can I kindly ask the technicians to
Je peux donner lecture. Au niveau du paragraphe 5, nous souhaiterons que la phrase s'arrête après préoccupation, c'est-à-dire rappelant également sa préoccupation quant aux impacts potentiels du projet aurifère à Mako qui pourrait exacerber les problèmes existants tels que le braconnage l'orpaillage illégal et la fragmentation de l'habitat, ainsi que sa demande à l'État partie de suivre et mettre en œuvre l'étude d'impact environnemental et social du projet afin de tenir compte de cette préoccupation. Point. Nous souhaitons que soit buffet et afin d'identifier une conception et un emplacement alternatif du projet qui n'aurait pas d'impact négatif sur la valeur exceptionnelle du bien. Nous souhaitons buffer cela parce que l'exploitation minière est une réalité effective. Donc, nous pensons que ce bout de phrase n'a plus de sens. Et nous souhaitons la phrase qui commence par « regrette » qu'une concession minière ait été accordée au projet aurifère à Mako pour la période 2016-2017 soit un paragraphe distinct. Regrette qu'une concession minière ait été accordée au projet aurifère à Mako pour la période 2016-2017. Voilà les légères corrections que je voulais apporter aux amendements qui ont été proposés. Merci.
Merci, thank you. The floor goes to ICOMOS.
No,
To IUC, and I'm sorry.
Merci, Monsieur le Président. Je veux tout d'abord tenir à remercier le Sénégal pour le dialogue qu'on a mené. Je crois que la totalité de la décision en français, c'est comme on a discuté, mais je veux juste, si je peux changer en anglais, dire say that in the English, I think there's a mistranslation of one word. So in the French, it's noting in paragraph 8 que l'exploitation de la mine est effective, but we had not understood, we'd understood this to mean that the mine was essentially underway, rather than effective wouldn't have the same sense in English. So just, I think there's a translation error taking from the French to the English, that the mine is a reality, is the correct sense of the situation. Mais en français, je crois qu'on est arrivé au consensus, Monsieur le Président. Merci.
Thank you. So let's try to go for adoption. Shall we start with the beginning of this document? Para 1, adopted. Para 2, adopted. Para 3, adopted. Para 4, adopted as amended. Para 5, adopted as amended. Para 6, adopted as amended. Para 7, adopted. Para 8, adopted as amended. Para 9, adopted. Para 10, 11, 12, 13, adopted, and finally para 14, adopted, which means that I declare decision 41,78.16 adopted as amended. I'm just encouraged by Dr. Resler that in the next side we have just one small amendment. So passing the floor to Mr. Mukala, we have Selous Game Reserve, United Republic of Tanzania. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairperson. The State of Conservation report for the Selous Game Reserve was submitted by the State Party on 6 February 2017. The report can be found in document WHC 1741.com 7A, page 33 in English and page 34 in French. This State of Conservation report has been proposed for discussion by the World Heritage Center in IUCN. It recalls the findings of the IUCN reactive monitoring mission held in February 2017, to which IUCN will report on. It is important to note that over the last 3 years, the State Party has demonstrated political will and intensified its effort to halt poaching in the property, as requested by the committee. The national authority have developed an emergency action plan and a draft desired state of conservation for the removal of the property from the list of World Heritage in danger, which provides a comprehensive framework to guide the conservation efforts. The State Party should be encouraged to submit the finalized DSOCR and the corrective measures for committee's endorsement as soon as it becomes available. It is important to note on the 5th of July, yesterday, the State Party informed the World Heritage Center and IUCN of the Tanzanian government intention to implement the construction of the Tigla Gorge Power Project. Thank you, Mr. Chairperson.
Thank you. And if you allow me, I suggest to go directly to the decision. If Zimbabwe wishes to take the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairperson. Zimbabwe commends the State Party of Tanzania for the enormous progress realized so far in implementing the World Heritage Committee decisions associated with this danger listing in 2014, especially the substantive anti-poaching measures undertaken in collaboration with a range of conservation partners that have already reversed the elephant poaching trend. Zimbabwe also takes note of the recent visit of this property by the IUCN Reactive Monitoring Mission in February 2017, the report of which generally confirms that there has been an encouraging range of implemented or planned measures towards safeguarding the OUV of this otherwise vast property in accordance with previous committee decisions. Chairperson, this said, Zimbabwe has, however, noted a few points in the draft decision 41-17 that warrants a discussion. Firstly, the draft decision urges the State Party to permanently abandon the planned dam development that was hitherto at a conceptual stage. Given the ongoing debate within the Committee on Conservation and Sustainable Development of the property, my delegation feels that this rather strong position is rather preemptive and premature. Secondly, it is also proposed in the draft decision that the State Party prepares a strategic plan for mitigating the impact of livestock intrusion in the property. My delegation is aware that the State Party of Tanzania has a comprehensive GMP in place, though it is due for review, which takes care of clear approaches on how to deal with the problem, the scale of which is also considered as particularly not severe. Therefore, a preparation of an additional strategy or plan to this effect would be an obvious duplication of efforts. Chairperson, I also request that the State Party be given a chance to clarify on this discussion. Chairperson, my delegation has submitted amendments to the draft decision to reflect on these observations. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Finland has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I visited the Selous Game Reserve myself just a few years ago, and I can confirm we are speaking about a truly magnificent property. Finland also fully appreciates and supports the need for countries to pursue sustainable development. However, as we decided in the item 5 concerning sustainable development in this committee, the balance between environmental, social and economic sustainability should be achieved while fully respecting and protecting the outstanding universal value of World Heritage properties. Now we have a concern that the proposed Stigler's Gorge hydropower project in the heart of the World Heritage property will indeed jeopardize the OUV of the site. The World Heritage Committee has also previously raised concern about overdevelopment projects within Selous, for example in decision 36-7B5 and 36-8B34. Additionally, the State Party had at that time in 2012 expressed its commitment not to proceed with projects that threaten the OUV of the site. Therefore, Finland encourages Tanzania not to proceed with the Stigler's Gorge hydropower project. Construction of dams with large reservoirs within the boundaries of World Heritage properties is incompatible with their World Heritage status as decided by this committee last year, Decision 40-7/17. Instead, Finland encourages Tanzania to consider more sustainable energy power solutions that will not damage the OUV and ensure Selous ecosystem services as a key asset for local communities also in the future. Mr. Chair, Finland would also like to commend the State Party for its continuous efforts to address the poaching within the property. However, as the situation for the critically endangered black rhino is still alarming, there is a need to further strengthen the efforts to protect this species. Finally, Mr. Chair, we have some minor changes to the amended draft decision, if you allow. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I wonder if the State Party wishes to take the floor. Not really. Yes. In short, if I may please you kindly.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Tanzania would like to comment on the issue of the Stigler's Gorge. The State Party commitment to undertake the Stigler's Gorge hydroelectric development project within the Selous Game Reserve's World Heritage Site has been on the agenda since independence in the 1960s. The property was therefore inscribed in the World Heritage List with this agenda on the table. At the time of the inscription in 1982, IUCN considered that the Stigler's Gorge project was of no serious environmental concern, given the vast size of the property. As you are well aware, the Selous Game Reserves covers a vast 50,000 square kilometers, and the project covers only 3% of this area. Mr. Chairperson, Tanzania has recently made a firm decision towards industrial transformation, which has significantly increased energy demand. Given the current available power generation options, it has been imperative to reconsider Stigler's Gorge as a power source. At full capacity, implementation of this project is expected to boost the total power production for the country by about 144%. And therefore, the State Party has decided to develop the Stigler's Gorge power source to its full potential to address the widening gap in power demand. When this project is completed, it will benefit the majority of the community who live without electricity and save the escalated industrial demand for the power. Tanzania is of the opinion that if well planned, executed, and monitored, such projects such as power dams need not necessarily adversely impair conservation. In contrast, by use of the best available technological options, planning and monitoring tools, such projects stand to generate national wealth and improve the livelihood of social well-being of the local community without adversely jeopardizing the very environmental base that generates such benefits. It is also important to mention that despite the no-option conception for hydropower projects within or adjacent World Heritage properties. In reality, demand for such projects continue to exist since they address the basic socio-economic needs. So lastly, we wish also to inform the committee that such constructive consultations, the committee that constructive consultations with the World Heritage Center and the advisory bodies on this matter have already been done, and an official submission of this proposal has already been done. I wish to submit, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. And now we go directly to the decision. I'm asking Mr. Juma to inform us kindly about the amendments.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have an amendment proposed by the distinguished delegate of Zimbabwe on this draft decision of 11 paragraph. There's only 2 amendments. We go paragraph 1, 2, 4, 5, 6. It is as it is before. Paragraph 7, there's addition at the end, which reads, conduct a comprehensive HIA for this project and submit to the World Heritage Center for review in accordance with paragraph 172 of operational guideline. And then we go to paragraph 8, 9, there are the remainders before. Paragraph 10 has been deleted. Paragraph 11 become paragraph 10 and paragraph 12 become paragraph 11. This is what has been proposed by distinguished delegate of Zimbabwe, Chairman.
Thank you. Now Finland, and after that I hope we can approve this very document. Finland.
Thank you, Chair, for giving us the floor. We have one amendment in paragraph 2, since there are some other relevant decisions that we think the committee should recall. It should recalling decisions, so we have an S to the decisions, 40,7, 40,7, 40,7, and 7A47 as it's read already. And then after, yes, that's okay. And then after 2016, as well as 36,7B.5 and 36,8B.43 adopted at its 36th session in St. Petersburg, UNESCO 2012. And this was the decisions that we mentioned in our intervention earlier, so I won't say any more on that if not requested. And then in paragraph 7, so Finland, we are fine with permanently abandon the project to delete that. But since the situation is very severe, we would like to give the state party one more chance to reconsider and not talking about an HIA or ESIA on this meeting. So we would prefer, instead of Zimbabwe's amendment, request the state party to consider alternative options to the Stiger George hydropower project in the National Power System Master Plan, full stop. Thank you, Chair, for being patient with me.
It is not a matter of my patience, it is a matter of the patience of the distinguished committee and interpreters. Do remember. Turkey, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. On the same paragraph, we have amendment after ESIA, HIA for this project, before deciding to proceed with the construction of the project, we like to add. The first blue line, after the project, we like to add, before deciding to proceed with the construction of the project.
Construction.
Construction. So with this addition, we like to...
Good. Thank you. It seems to be like a small compromise, but Angola wishes to take the floor, and after that I will ask Finland and Zimbabwe, of course. Angola, the floor is yours.
Thanks, Mr. Chairperson. Yeah, we'd like to support the amended decision made by Turkey and Finland. Thank you.
Thank you. Zimbabwe.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We would go along with Turkey and Finland as long as they've heard what Tanzania had said, because I think Tanzania had already, when they made their presentation, they had already given view of what Finland was actually requesting, the alternative method of coming with alternative power sources. But we can go along with that.
Thank you. Finland, the floor is yours.
We are fine with keeping both and also with the Turkey amendment, so thank you.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I can see that also your perception is diminishing. It is why let's start with para 1. Para 1, easy. Adopted. Para 2, adopted as amended. Para 3, adopted. Para 4, adopted. Para 5 and 6, adopted. Para 7. It is the last chance. Adopted as amended. Para 8. Adopted. Para 9. Adopted. Para 10, as I understand, there is a new para. It was the deletion, so adopted. And para 10 and para 11 adopted, which means that finally, at the very end of this marathon, I can declare decision 41.7a.17 adopted as amended, but it is not the end of the session. The respected representative of NGO wishes to take the floor. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for recognising the multiple representative voices of civil society. I believe there will be another speaker after me, if approved. This statement is made on behalf of the Legal and Human Rights Centre in Dar es Salaam in Tanzania, an organisation whose mission is to empower the people of Tanzania so as to promote, reinforce and safeguard human rights and good governance in Tanzania. When the boundary modification of the Selous Game Reserve World Heritage Site was approved by the World Heritage Committee in 2012, a number of recommendations were made and conditions then accepted. Now, 5 years later, most of these conditions and recommendations have not been implemented. The project for which the way was paved by this decision is a uranium mine, a nuclear installation. Uranium mines and their tailings waste will disseminate a variety of long-lived radioactive elements in perpetuity into the environment. None of the uranium operations in Africa and only very few in the world have ever been rehabilitated. Thus, there is a high risk that the Makuju River uranium mine will contaminate the Selous Game Reserve and the Rufiji River system and irreversibly put at risk the outstanding universal value of the World Heritage Site. We call upon the World Heritage Committee to take steps to reintegrate the excluded mining area into the World Heritage Site to achieve effective protection in the future. Thank you.
Thank you, and thank you not just important message, but also by your time management. I can recognize the second respected representative of NGO. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm Chairman, delegates, and NGO partners. I am here not just representing WWF, but representing 450,000 global citizens from over 150 countries who have shown their support to the Selous Game Reserve World Heritage Site. I would like to commend Tanzania on their leadership on anti-poaching activities to initiate the recovery of Selous elephant population. However, I commend the government with caution. A number of oil and gas concessions have been issued for Selous, and there are other industrial-scale activities planned in the reserve. Elephants and wildlife need spaces to live, and their Selous home is threatened by a large-scale infrastructure project, as we have heard here. If these developments go ahead, WWF fears for the survival of Selous World Heritage Site. Protecting the outstanding universal value of the reserve is key, but research suggests keeping Selous intact benefits people and the economy by providing stable livelihoods for 200,000 Tanzanian citizens downstream in areas with high poverty. This issue is not an issue isolated to Tanzania. Nearly half of all World Heritage Sites are seeing ongoing pressure from large-scale and potentially harmful industrialization, in spite of the clear economic and social value these properties provide locally, nationally, and globally. We encourage the committee to be consistent in protecting the future capacity of all these sites to continue providing outstanding universal value to all humanity. Thank you. Dziękuję.
Thank you. It means now that I'm really in the position, I'm allowed to express my gratitude to you all, also for your patience and readiness to work very hard during the whole day. And before I declare the session closed, I'm passing the floor to Madam Tacharova.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We have finished the session a little bit later today. Nonetheless, I suppose the two events that you're going to see on the screens will take place. Maybe some of them have started, depending on what the organizers have decided. There are two events tonight. One is at the foyer level 1, and this is an event by WWF engaging with the finance sector to better protect natural World Heritage Sites. I'm sure that this is a very important and very interesting topic, of course. And the second event was planned at 7 o'clock. This is actually the official closing of the Site Managers Forum. And I have received a specific request from the Polish authorities, from the host country, who have had this, for the first time, this really excellent idea to convene a Site Managers Forum to bring them together, the people who work on the grassroots level, who are the first one to take care of the management, of protection, of conservation. So this initiative has taken place, this seminar, for the first time, and they have asked me to strongly encourage representatives of all committee members and states parties to, in a way, pay a tribute to the site managers, those that work for the protection on the grassroots level. This event will be held in the Chamber Hall. So I think this is all from the Secretariat for tonight, and I wish to all of you a very good evening. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, and now the good news, I declare this very session closed. Thank you and hope to see you tomorrow, 9:30.